All right, badasses. You guys don't know what I have planned for you guys today. I am so excited for you to be here. I needed to change my outfit into the famous badass outfit. Okay. Like, I just needed to bring it to you guys today. And I am so fired up. Yes, I realize I turn on my camera talking to my husband. I'm like, oh, wait, you're actually on camera. But anyways, we're human. So thank you guys so much for being here. Who is here? Oh my God. Victoria said I canceled a meeting with HR to be here live. So excited. Let's go. Amazing. Okay, let me know if you're all caught up on day one and day two. As a reminder, all trainings are going to expire Sunday night unless you're a badass client. You will get lifetime access, and I will email you guys out trainings on a separate link, and it's going to be up inside of the portal. But all access will be removed Sunday evening. Okay, so you guys are here. You guys made it to day three. And I'm honestly celebrating you guys so big, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, because you're a badass action taker and you show up for yourself. You put in the work. And I see you. Like, you guys should be so damn proud of yourself for being here, for being part of a 3-day masterclass to conquer binge eating. Like, you should just honestly take a moment to just be so proud of yourself, because there are so many people that are going through this and not everybody is here. So you guys are doing incredible just for being here, watching live or the replay. I've also been so excited chatting with some of you guys in the DMs about Conquer. And I'm so excited about that. I'm going to talk more about the program in more detail at the end of this training, but I hope you guys feel my heart. I am so serious about doing this work with people who are committed, who are so ready to conquer. And as I talked about yesterday, of course you're going to be shit in your pants, right? Of course you're going to have fear. Of course there's going to be resistance. Of course there's going to be so many thoughts in your mind like, can I actually do this? Can I actually conquer? Will this work for me? And you just have to really get real with yourself. I always say get real with yourself, get honest with yourself. Have I used this approach before? Have I rewired my brain? Have I worked with a coach who actually gets me? Did I have tangible tools? Was I part of a badass community of other people who are just as committed as I am? Or have I been just trying to not binge? Have I been just trying to do this on my own? Have I just been restricting? If you think about all the things that you've done, maybe you work with therapists, maybe you work with nutritionists who didn't understand you. I want you guys to get so excited because you have the best opportunity right now. It's not that you're broken. It's not that you don't even have to be fixed. It's that you just don't have the right support yet. And maybe you're just trying to navigate this on your own. And I often say that binge eating thrives in isolation, right? And so I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I don't care how long you struggled with this for, you're not broken. I can literally look you deep in the eyes. If you guys were on camera right now, I would look at you deep in the eyes right now and just say you're going to conquer. And I can say that with full confidence because this has been tested so many times, not just for me. This didn't just work for me. You heard from Stacy yesterday, my clients in the chat box who are binge free and their minds are blown. They too started thinking, I don't think this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to work. I think about people who often are like, I want to conquer binge eating. And, I think about a client who's like, I want to be a better example to my children. This is really important for me. I need to do this. And then ghosted me for 3 months. You know who you are, right? Because she thought she can do this on her own. She's like, I'm independent. I've done everything else on my own. I maybe can just try to figure this out, until she realized that she just didn't have the tools. So she reached back out, and still to this day, what does she say? I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have started sooner. And these people also have fear, and they also are like, I can't even picture a binge-free life. One of the clients She came up on our first coaching call and she had so many food rolls. She was tracking every single thing she was eating. She was weighing herself every single day. And she was hearing from people that were talking about being binge free. And she was like, okay, that's great for you, but like I feel very, very far away from that. Like I can't even trust myself. Like I don't even know hunger and fullness cues from right, left, center, up, down. Like that's really far away. But she leaned into the community because she saw all these other people conquering. She saw other people going through this, and that actually made her excited to lean in even more. And she's attended so many of our coaching calls. She's plugged into the badass community. She's invested. She's all in. And she signed with me until the end of September. And she's coming to the Unstoppable Badass event, right? So she's like showing up in every single area of her life, even if at the beginning she was like, other people are conquering, but I'm tracking my food. I don't know how much to eat. I can't trust myself. Yeah, she's like, yep, that's me in the chat. Right? I have to weigh myself. We work through this. That's the point of coaching, you guys. Like, you're not going to be ready and then you get coaching. It's like, holy shit, I don't know if I can do this. I'm scared shitless. That's the point. You lean in, you put in the work, and then you're going to be mind blown for what you're able to experience. So come in my DMs. We can chat about Conquer. I can answer any questions that you guys have. And we can chat about it. I'm going to talk a bit more about the program in detail at the end of this call, but feel free to message me. Some of you guys already did, and I'm excited to get you guys inside. Okay, so day three, tools for when you feel the urge to binge that will help you to not give in. I am so fired up about this training. So I have tried so many different things to try to not give into my urges. I'd use positive self-talk. I would tell myself, just don't do it. I would book yoga classes in the evening so that I wouldn't snack. I would tell my mom, because I was living with my parents at the time, to not buy certain foods like the chocolate or the coconut clusters or dried mangoes or cashews. I try to fill up my calendar. Anytime I would look at my calendar and I would see that I would have so many calls, I used to get so excited because I'm like, that means I can't binge, right? I can't binge because I don't have time, right? I used to tell myself to drink bone broth or tea every single night so that I wouldn't like snack in the evening. And it's like, well, of course, if your day is filled, you can't binge. Of course, if you don't have the food in your house, like you literally can't binge on something that you don't have in the house. Like, sure, you can go drive to the store, but obviously you're not going to binge. And I had this realization that I was just managing my urges. Drop manage in the chat. Managing your urges is like you're like walking on eggshells. You're like tiptoeing, right? Like I'm just trying to not give in without an actual tested process that will help you to not give in. So managing your urges is, I hope I don't binge. I hope I can do this. I don't know if I'll be able to. Like I'm exhausted. Like it's so much freaking effort, but like I hope I can. And I didn't want to keep on managing my urge because it's exhausting, right? How many of you guys have done this? Like just trying to not do it. I didn't want to have to keep food out of my house because I'm going to go to social events. I'm going to go to weddings. There's going to be holidays. There's obviously going to be other foods. So even if I can't control what's technically in my house, what happens when I go to a friend's house? What happens when I go to my parents' house? My mom makes the best delicious cookies. Then what? I don't want to have to keep up filling up my calendar. That's actually making me more stressed and overwhelmed, literally trying to put more calls and more things on my calendar. That's making me more overwhelmed, more stressed out. And I don't want to feel stressed out. I don't want to force myself to go to bed early. And there was even a point where after I shared with Andrew and I opened up to him that I was going through some food struggles, you know what he suggested? He said, why don't you text me? when you feel the urge to binge, the next time, just maybe like just send me a message and tell me that you're going to do it. And then maybe that will help you to not do it. And I was like, okay, for those of you guys who know, like you would never text your partner, right? Because it's like, no, I don't want to, but I do. So I'm not going to text you to say what I'm going to do because I want to do it. So like if I don't text you, you're not going to know that I did it. Like what? This is all backwards. Like you just don't understand. And anyways, I was be trying so many different things, and managing your urges is different than eliminating them, no longer feeling the urge to binge. So the first step one, is understanding what makes it more challenging for you to not give into your urges. I want you to drop inside of the chat, and maybe you've never heard anybody talk about this before. I don't even think I shared this before. I think this is probably the first time I've shared it in this kind of angle or in this kind of talk context. Drop in the chat, shame. Drop in the chat, shame. Shame lowers your capacity to be able to not give in, because feeling embarrassed, keeping this to yourself, feeling like you're holding on to a dirty little secret is so heavy. It takes up so much headspace. It takes up so much energy. And I remember thinking, nobody talks about this. Like I'm the only one. But I said to myself, there must be at least one person going through this, because I realized I wasn't opening up to other people besides my mom and Andrew, who had no freaking clue what was going on. But hold on a minute. If I am not sharing with other people, people aren't sharing with me. And in my head, I said, somebody must be going through this. And they are sitting there in silence, sitting with so much shame and guilt and frustration, and also feeling alone. And then I'm sitting here and I'm feeling alone. So like, whoa, like something needs to change. So at the time, I was a personal trainer. I was a health coach. I was posting on social media. Okay. I had a social media account. I wasn't a binge eating coach at this time. I was just like a health and fitness coach. And I had 98,000 followers on my old Instagram. And I thought to myself, I need to talk about this. I need to share with all these people, because I know that there's somebody out there who's following me who thinks I got my shiz together. And I don't. But I'm not going to feel shame about that. I want to feel empowered about this. I want to feel empowered about this. And I thought to myself, like, what if I stop having so much shame? And instead, I started seeing that I was strong to talk about this, that I was the brave one, that I was the badass who's going to overcome this. When you're holding on to so much shame, it's so heavy, right? Like binge eating in and of itself is so much to hold. And then you have the embarrassment, the shame. It's exhausting, right? So many of you guys are so exhausted, like thinking about food, overeating, giving into your urges, but then holding on to this like it's a dirty little secret. So I said, I'm going to start feeling empowered, not shameful. I'm going to start feeling empowered. I'm going to share my story. And so I posted on my social media with 98,000 followers. I had diarrhea. Okay. Not even like poop my pants. Like I literally had diarrhea. Not actually, but I was so scared. But I shared my truth. I said, I'm struggling with binge eating. And at the time, I felt like I was a fraud because I was a health coach. I was a personal trainer. I was successful in so many areas of my life, but nobody knew this about me. And I kid you not, the moment I pressed post, I had messages flooding my DMs. I'm going through the exact same situation. I thought I was the only person. You make me feel so seen. I'm so glad you talked about this. comments, DMs. I'm not talking one or two people, hundreds of people. And because I was willing to stop feeling so embarrassed about this and tap into my inner badass and turn this shame, this heavy shame, into this feeling of empowerment of like, I'm going to overcome this. I'm not the only one. I automatically started feeling better. But obviously that's not enough, right? Like you can't just talk to people about it and be like, okay, like, thank God I'm not the only one. Let's binge together, right? Oh, you're struggling? Yeah, I'm struggling too. Like, oh yeah, this sucks. No, 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 no. Okay, you guys are badasses, right? You're a badass. I'm a badass. We're going to conquer, rise together. That's why I created the badass community. Not to just like sit in it and talk about it like, oh my God, it's so hard. It's so challenging. Oh my God, poor us. No, it's let's come together to become greater versions of ourselves, right? So this was a pivotal moment for me. I released shame. I released embarrassment. I felt like I could actually fly. Nothing was weighing me down. Shame lowers your capacity to not give into your urges. It clouds your mind. It creates a heaviness, a weight on you. You feel stopped in your life instead of feeling unstoppable. So if you want to feel free around food and you want to fly, so to speak, you want to conquer, you cannot be holding on to something that's literally weighing you down, AKA the shame. And the best way is to be open, to share, but to share with somebody who gets you, a community of women who get you, to stop feeling like you're broken, but rather feel like I'm empowered. I am this badass who's going to conquer. And you have to change and rewrite your story. So go from this thing happened to me and change it to this thing happened for me. So binge eating didn't happen to you. Binge eating happened for you. Now, when you think something happened to you, right? Like this thing happened to me, there's shame, there's heaviness. And nobody wants to think like binge eating happened for me. Like it's a great thing. But in the grand scheme of things, there's always lessons to be learned, right? There's always something for you. And so when you're on this journey, it literally forces you to be kinder to yourself. It forces you to be more compassionate towards yourself. It forces you to literally fall deeper in love with who you are. And it forces you to change how you're speaking to yourself. It causes you to be devoted to working on yourself, to carving out that time. And the truth is, if this wasn't given to you, something else would have. / you wouldn't have built up the strength, the confidence, the self-love that happened as a result of you dedicating time to heal this. And so I often say that binge eating will be something that you think is the worst thing to ever happen to you. And then it becomes something that you almost thank God for, because on the other side, you're radiating joy, right? You heard Stacy come up and share how much more mental headspace she has, right? She shared that she even has a vacation coming up and she's not even worried about that. Like, you get to experience that. She gets to experience that because she went through this process of building herself up, falling deeper in love with herself. So much mental freedom, best feeling ever. Yes, right? So this journey strengthens you. This journey builds you up into this badass woman that you're meant to be. This journey will make you feel unstoppable more than anything that you've ever done in your entire life. So reframe binge eating in your life. If you think this thing happened to me, this sucks, why me? You're going to feel trapped. You're going to feel like using the tools that I'm going to share with you guys are hard to use. It feels like you're climbing up a mountain. Everything's working against you. Like an urge popped up. See, I can't conquer. I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. See, I can't conquer. Instead of seeing that, like, there's something here for me. I'm going to conquer. I'm going to grow. I'm going to expand. I'm going to heal. Then every single action that you take is fueled by excitement to meet the unstoppable badass version of you, to meet the greatest version of yourself. Like in the chat box, like, I have so much mental freedom, best feeling ever. You get excited. You're more likely to take action because you know that something didn't happen to you, something happened for you. And there's something greater on the other side of you going through the trenches and you climbing up that mountain. It's like, you know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel because something didn't happen to you, something happened for you. There's excitement. I don't feel shame anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not isolating myself anymore. No, that's why the badass community is so important. It literally makes people conquer 10 times faster because you've released the shame. You've opened up. You're proud of yourself for putting in the work to better yourself, to better your family. And the badass community is inside of our Conquer program. So, does that land? Does that land for you? Drop landed if that lands for you. It's a really, really, really big reframe. Let me know if that landed for you. So, when the urge to binge comes on, okay? When the urge comes on, what does your body actually want? Your body wants to feel relaxed, calm, to feel euphoria, to feel like high, to feel like you need to escape, to feel numb, or to not even feel at all. Right. And you can obviously get these things from food, but so many other areas of your life. We kind of touched on this briefly yesterday, but you can get these things through friendships, relationships, a massage, intimacy, right? A job promotion, thriving in your career. And it's not that those things are just as pleasurable as binging, as we talked about yesterday. It's not about replacing binge eating with those things. Like instead of binging, I'm going to go hang out with a friend. No, it's not going to be the same. But when you make your body feel good and you're thriving in your life and you have good friendships and you have great relationships, you have joy, you live a pleasure-filled life, you're not going to need to experience a false sense of joy through food. Remember, binging is a temporary sense of joy and pleasure, and a fulfilling life is a long-term happiness, long-term fulfillment. The only difference is binging is self-destructive and a fulfilling life is actually self-serving. It makes you a better human, aka the badass woman that you know you are. So what you're actually wanting is comfort, relief, and pleasure. And I want you to start thinking, how can I start giving myself those things in a self-serving way without doing things that are actually self-sabotaging? Okay. Now, tools to use. When you feel the urge to binge comes on, what do you think? What are your actions? What normally happens? Because your thoughts influence your actions. How you think impacts how you feel. And so right now, maybe when the urge to binge comes on, you think or you say to yourself, oh, I have to give in. It's too hard. I promise this will be the last binge, but I deserve it. It's been such a stressful day. Not giving in isn't going to make a difference because I'm probably going to have an urge pop up tomorrow. My urges are so powerful over me. Like I have no willpower. I'm not disciplined. The first step is you have to reframe your thoughts. If you want to stop giving in, you have to change your thoughts because your actions and the behaviors you choose to engage in are influenced by your thoughts. Your thoughts impact what you choose to do. So when you think to yourself, it's too hard, you got to reframe that a little bit. Is it uncomfortable? Heck freaking yes, it's uncomfortable. But do you know who you are? You are a freaking badass who can do hard and challenging things like not give in to your urges. So instead of it's too hard, I can't do this, I'm probably going to give in, you got to talk to yourself like you're a freaking badass. I wanted to get so sassy with it, right? Like, do you know who I am? I'm this badass. I am strong. My body can handle discomfort. My body is strong and capable. I can do hard and challenging things. Instead of saying, oh, but the food is just so good. Like one more time, all you need to focus on is I'm just not going to give in to the next urge. That's it. Don't think about not giving in for the rest of your life. It's like, I'm not going to give in to this next urge. That's literally it. One urge at a time. Do you see how you can reframe that? Oh, but there's no point of not giving into this one because I'm just going to keep on binging for the rest of my life. No, I'm not going to give into this next urge. That's all I got to focus on. And something that can help you with that is when the urge comes on, I want you to approach the urge with this curiosity instead of frustration, anger, or annoyance. So, just like a child who comes up to you, right? Let's say like a child is coming up to you and they're crying, right? Like they're like tears are coming down their face. And I don't know about you, but like my son is 4 months old and he has like these little tears and I get so sad. Andrew's like, he's fine. I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm crying. Like, I feel so bad. And like, he's fine. But like, it just makes me so sad. Anyways, if a little child came up to you crying, you wouldn't be mad at them. You'd be curious, like, are you okay? Right? You would probably ask them, what's wrong? How can I help you? What do you need? And yes, you want to see binge eating as a habit, but you want to get curious. You want to ask yourself questions, right? Like, again, what do you need? Is everything okay? Right? If you were frustrated at the fact that a kid came up to you and this child was crying and you were so frustrated, the kid would probably feel your energy and start being louder and cry more and be more intense. What do you think happens to the urge? The urge is the same thing. When you respond and you're frustrated, why are you here again? Your urge intensifies. Your urge becomes stronger. And you end up giving your urges so much more attention. Like, I have to respond to it. Like, oh, it's so annoying. Instead of curiosity, like, why are you here? Like, I'm just like, what do you need from me? I'm just kind of curious. What are you actually needing? Remember yesterday, my lawyer client example, she needed a nap, not food. She almost binged because she didn't want to let herself rest. But once she gave herself the nourishment that she needed to actually go and take a nap, she literally woke up and forgot that she wanted to binge. So approach the urge with this curiosity, not frustration, not annoyance. Why are you here again? But curiosity. When you get annoyed and frustrated, it's easier to give in because you're like, oh, it's not working. Oh, you're here again. I'm not going to be able to stop. Instead of, I know it takes time. I'm going to get curious. How can I help you? Right? And then again, become curious. So yesterday I talked about how it's a habit and you don't want to like dissect like, wait, why do I have an urge? Okay, well, I was stressed out at work today and then this thing happened. Like, you don't want to dissect so deep, but you do want to have a healthy level of curiosity. Okay, interesting. So for lunch today, I actually wanted some chili with some sourdough bread. And I told myself to just have chicken stir fry. Oh, but wait, that wasn't really satisfying. Okay, interesting. Oh, you know what's actually really interesting? So I've been a little overwhelmed lately and I said yes to another project at work and I probably shouldn't have said yes and I'm already so busy. So I'm not going to judge myself. I'm just, oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Maybe I do have a little bit more on my plate, right? It's like curiosity. And there's a difference between blame, which we discussed yesterday, and getting curious, right? You don't want to blame your urges on anything, but you do want to become curious. Oh, interesting. Right. I think I actually was having a craving for something earlier on today and I kind of pushed it off. So now I'm kind of feeling a little urgy. Interesting. Right. So curiosity, it's like you're in this calm, grounded state. And when you're a little bit more calm, it's easier to not give in because remember the urge, right? This urge is this feeling of surge of energy, rush of anxiety. And if you're feeling annoyed and frustrated, You respond in that way. You match the energy of the urge. When you're in a reactive state, when the urge comes on, you also react and you give in. So, despite the discomfort, you have to stay calm and grounded and neutral, just like you would with a child that's coming up for you. Like, what do you need from me? Are you okay? Right? Because how you respond to the urge determines whether you'll give in or not. The more you respond in a reactive, anxious state and you make it the big deal, the urge is going to become so much stronger. So you have to stay calm instead of, oh my God, it's here. Wait, what do I do? Oh my God, I'm so mad. Just even thinking about that is creating anxiety in the body. When you feel anxiety, I need to get rid of this emotion. Okay, I'm just going to get in because I'm so anxious right now. I need to eat to feel better. And it's this cycle. So, despite the discomfort, you do need to remain in a calm state. And also not pay attention to it. So, this is the duality. Now, there's a difference between saying, this isn't who I am when the urge comes on, and just not giving in. Only one is effective. So, saying, this isn't me, I don't need to pay attention to the urge. It doesn't need me. I'm just going to let the urge do its thing. Yeah, it's just throwing a little tantrum right now. It's not me. Pay attention. It's not me. It doesn't need me. It doesn't need my attention. That is more effective than trying to just not give in. Because when you just try to not give in and you're just telling yourself, like, don't do it, what you're actually doing is you're identifying with the urge. You're literally saying, this is me. And so I have to try really, really hard to not give in. Like, I hope I can do it. Like, it's all me. But the urge isn't you, which is why you need to let the urge do its thing and not pay attention to it. You have to like disconnect you from the urge. You are here and the urge is here. You got to separate yourself, not identify with the urge. Because when you identify with the urge, then it feels like it's me. It needs me. Like, I need to pay attention to it. But you're not the urge. So you got to observe the urge, not identify with it. And this is one of the tools that I teach inside of Conquer. Observation versus identification. You want to observe the urge with loving curiosity, not identify with it. This isn't me. I don't need to pay attention to it. If it was me, I would listen to it, but it's not me. It's this outside force. So I'm going to let it do its thing. Okay, that is an identity shift. And then again, this goes back to how you're seeing yourself in the situation, right? The same conversation that we just discussed about shame. When you're holding on to shame, you see yourself as this binge eater. When you see something happen to me, you see yourself differently. Like, this urge is me, like something's wrong with me. Instead of, I am this freaking badass. I'm taking charge of my health. I'm taking radical responsibility. I'm being empowered. I'm taking control again. I'm getting support. I'm invested time, energy, money into my healing. I'm invested. I'm committed. I'm this badass. No, the urge isn't me. I'm this badass. So how you see yourself in the situation matters, and it all builds on top of each other. Okay. Now, before I share 3 really, really effective tools that I want to share with you, I want to share this. So, a sip of water. So, people often ask me, Lorna, how long is it going to take? Like, just tell me, how long is it going to take for me to completely stop feeling the urge to binge? The truth is, however much you put into it. So I grew up a competitive dancer, and I spent time practicing dance, right? I remember even in high school, I would leave high school and I would go to the studio during the day to practice my solo. I actually had to get a neighbor to drive me because my parents worked, and my mom was so cute. She literally gave my neighbors like gift cards to say thank you for helping me out. But anyways, I would be at the dance studio until 8:30 at night, almost every single night. Saturday and Sunday, I would literally be there from like 8 or 9 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. I was putting in the freaking work. Okay. And even when I wasn't at the dance studio, I would be at home practicing my dance routine. And I said to myself, if I want to get a good score, if I want to come in first place, if I want to win, I got to show up. Like nobody's going to do it for me. Nobody's going to practice the dance routines for me. You can't expect yourself to not practice and get first place. Like that's insane, right? What that's like with anything in life, you can't expect to get good grades and never study unless you're the special unicorn. I know some people who can just sit in class, they absorb all the information, and then they get like 8 plus 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 plus. That wasn't the case for me. I needed to study my freaking booty off. But anyways, if I wanted to get first place or if I wanted to get good grades, I needed to put in the work. And imagine if I said to my coach, I want to get first place, but I don't have time to practice. Hey, coach, I want to get first place, but I don't want to invest in all of these dance styles like jazz and tap and ballet and hip hop and lyrical. I don't want to do ballet. I don't want to do point. My freaking feet. Like I don't want to do all those dances. But I did them because I knew that it would help me be a well-rounded dancer. And there was a reason why my dance studio packaged their programs to be all-encompassing. So at this dance studio that I danced at, it wasn't like you can just do jazz or you can just do hip hop or you can just take tap. It was like if you are a serious person, we're the studio for you. And it was a higher price dance studio because they were literally the best of the best. And they knew what it took for you to become successful, and they weren't going to rob you of that. So they knew if their clients, AKA the dancers, me, wanted to get first place, second place, there was a specific structure. You can't do one type of dance. You can't just do tap or jazz. You can't just practice for 1 hour a week. If you want to come to this studio, you got to show up. You have to actually do all of the dance classes. You're going to be at the studio putting in the work. Yeah, we're a higher price point studio, but you're going to get the best training. You're going to learn from the top coaches. You're going to have the best of the best. Like our studio does really well, and they had a reputation for that. And it's really interesting because there was actually a studio that I was looking at, like another studio before I actually jumped in and went with this studio. And this other studio was a lot cheaper. But I walked in and I didn't feel something like when I walked into the other studio. They didn't have results like the other studio did. Sure, they were cheaper, but I didn't feel like I belonged. I actually didn't feel anything when I walked into that dance studio. And so I knew that I was paying premium prices, but I was going to get coached by some really incredible coaches that saw me, that made me feel like I belonged. And I wanted that. I actually wanted to invest more because I didn't want to just do tap or ballet. Well, I didn't want to do ballet. Okay, I lied. But I knew that like I wanted to go to the best studio. And so if you want to be part of that studio, you got to commit to their process, and they know what works. They've tried and tested it. You're going to have to be at the studio for long hours. You're going to have to be all in because literally, what's the freaking point of practicing for an hour, but then not getting good scores? What's the point of paying less, but not being happy? What's the point of doing something in life if you don't feel like you belong? And there's like a vibe that feels off, and maybe learning from people that don't really understand you. So I said I'm willing to pay premium prices and get coached by people who I actually want to get coached with. And I want to show up. I want to feel confident on stage. Imagine if I said, again, to the coach, like, yes, I love this, but like, I don't want to practice. I don't have time. I want to get first place, but like, I don't want to practice. I want to get first place, but like, I don't want to do all these things that I know I need to do. You know what they would say? Good luck. Like, good luck. And there was one dancer who was the same age as me, and we always competed against each other. And fun fact, this was actually the dancer that called me fat in grade 8. We competed against each other. And she was really good. And I can confidently say she was a little bit better than me. And she would always get first place. Except one time I placed higher than her. And normally she would place first, because again, she was really incredible. But that one time I placed above her. Why? I believed I could do it. I believed I was good enough. I put in the work. I was practicing. I was downstairs in my basement. I was all in. I was committed. And the truth is, she stopped practicing. You guys pay attention here. This is really important because it relates to binge eating if you're actually paying attention. She wasn't practicing as much anymore because she knew she was good. Now, most people on their journey to conquering binge eating stop using the tools when things get better. Maybe you haven't binged in a hot minute and you're like, whatever, I'm going to stop using tools. I'm just going to give in because honestly, I haven't binged all week. Well, you have to keep using the tools if you want to sustain your results. I didn't want to get first place once. Like I wanted to continue getting better. I didn't want to just stop binge eating for a month and then go back to old habits. The reason I'm 6 years binge free, the reason my clients go years without binging is because they don't stop using the tools because things are good. I actually had somebody who started working with me and she's like, Lorna, I'm actually not at rock bottom. Like things are actually going pretty good, but I want to actually work with you because I want to be able to learn how to sustain this long term. Because every single time I'll do well for a little bit and then something would happen. I would go with, over for the weekend with my friends and then something would happen. And I don't want that anymore. So you have to keep utilizing the tools. And how long are you willing for it to take? If you knew you could be binge free, how long would you be willing to put in the effort? For me, infinite. When I asked my clients this at first, they're like, I want to be binge free now. One of my clients told me after working with me for a few months, she was like, I secretly was hoping for a quick fix. But then she joined the badass community and she understands how this process works. And she's like, honestly, like I'll do whatever it takes. Like however long it takes is fine with me. Cause honestly, I'm already feeling 10 times better, like a week in, a month in. I know that I'm in the right place. I know you get me. I know I'm in the right spot. So I know results are coming. So like I'm all in. Most clients commit to a year with me. They want to be in this thing forever, a long-term sustainable solution. So the amount of effort that you put in determines your results. Who you choose to work with matters. And the truth is, when you don't give it your all, you'll always think, what if? What if I was actually able to conquer binge eating, but I never let myself believe that I could? Just like with that dancer, imagine if I didn't believe that I could actually get a good score, right? What if I was able to conquer, but I never got the right support from somebody who actually gets me? What if I actually was able to conquer, but I let the fear win? Instead of, I'm so glad I believed in myself. I'm so glad I did it. You'll always wonder what if instead of going for it. You'll always be waking up knowing that you need to make a change every single day instead of actually celebrating how far you've come. And that takes brain power. We're talking about increasing the capacity for you to not be able to give into your urges, but all of this is clouding your mind, right? What if, always thinking like, what if I don't know if I can do it? Like that's all clouding your mind. Imagine if I chose the dance studio that was a lot cheaper, but I knew it actually wouldn't help me. I wasn't fulfilled. I didn't actually feel like I belonged. I'd be thinking about the other dance studio every single day. Like, man, like what if I actually went to the other studio that I wanted to dance at? Maybe I could actually, for the first time in my life, feel confident on stage. What if I actually went to the studio that I wanted to go to and I actually felt like I belonged? All of this takes up so much brain space. And 9 times out of 10, if I went to the studio that I didn't want to go to, I would end up joining the premium dance studio anyways, because that's what's going to serve me anyways. Right. And like, it's just so much time wasted. And I had a client that came to me and she said, I'm paying for therapy. And it's actually a client that I'm working with right now. And she said, I'm paying for therapy. And honestly, she doesn't get me. I come on a coaching call with you. I find so much value in literally 2 minutes of a conversation than years of therapy alone. So she stopped using therapy. And this happens to so many of my clients, whether they're working with dietitians or naturopaths or therapists. You know, this client that I'm talking about, she invested $6,700. She's a premium client, a high level space. I only accept a few clients in, but she invested $6,700. And that's way more than therapy, but she happily paid it, like with a smile on her face, because she knows she's getting the right support from the coach that actually gets her. All of this takes up brain space. You thinking about the program that you really want to join, the coach you really want to work with that understands you, thinking about investing. Am I going to go all in? That takes up brain space. I know I really want to conquer, but like maybe one day. It's the energy being drained out of you. It's already tough not giving into your urges, period. But then to have, we talk about the shame, but then also this indecisiveness, like this heaviness on you, like that makes it more challenging. And so this is why I always say, decide to commit to go all in on yourself, not just for the sake of committing, because that will change your life. But when you stop going back and forth in your mind, you stop overthinking, that frees up space inside of your mind. When clients come to work with me inside of Conquer, it's like, phew, I can breathe, I can relax, right? We don't have to worry about what to do. Like, I'm in the right space. I'm in good hands. It's one last thing that they have to focus on. And therefore, so much more space is cleared up in their mind. They have greater capacity to not even give into their urges. So you have to clear this space. You guys, nobody's talking about this. Everybody's telling you, distract yourself, stay busy. Like, you go to a therapist, they're like, read a book. Like, just don't do it, right? Nobody's actually talking about what's clouding your mind and causing you to not have the capacity to be able to not give in. You think you're broken. You think you're lacking discipline. You are the most powerful, badass woman that you know. You just got to make a decision. And you got to make the decision that you know you want to make. Victoria said, I like the plot twist end of your story. Many times I thought I was out of the woods, but the urges came back because I stopped using the tools. Yes, 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 yes. Right. And like, this is so important, you guys. Like, I work with so many clients and, you know, they said to me before, like, I've had binge free days. I've even had binge free months. But like, why am I still sabotaging? Because you can't just commit for 2 months or 3 months, even 6 months, you guys. It's not even a long time. Like, I'm going to say it. It's not even a long time, right? You have to be committed. You have to be all in. Stick with the badass community. Continue using the tools if you want to stay binge free for the rest of your life. Okay. Okay. So, are we ready for the most effective tools to stop giving into your binge urges? I'm going to share 3 very effective tools. Now, of course, there's so many other tools that I shared previously. They're like hidden ones, like observation versus identification. So not identifying with the urge, separating yourself from the urge, how you respond to the urge matters, right? All of those tools, even releasing shame, being decisive, right? All of those tools. But these 3 things are going to be the most effective. And now inside of Conquer, you get access to my program, Stop the Urge. And I actually share 10 effective tools. But of course, for the sake of this masterclass, I won't be able to give every single one. But inside of Conquer, you have all the tools there. And today I'm going to share 3. Okay. So when the urge comes on, you want to create a different feeling in your body. You want to feel different. You want to think differently, AKA you need to create a state change. So when the urge comes on, you're uncomfortable, right? So you want to feel different. Think about when you're really, really, really tired. If you've ever said, I'm so tired, and then you got your booty outside and you went for a walk, you got some fresh air, you like smelled the fresh air, you felt the sun on your skin, you probably felt rejuvenated. You felt different, right? That's a state change. Some people take cold showers first thing in the morning before they even get to work because it's like, I'm so tired. I need to wake up. I need to take a shower. So you can think and feel differently within moments. And when the urge to binge comes on and you're wanting to feel different, you need to create a state change. So there's 3 different ways that we can do this in no particular order. The first one is we have movement. Movement. Okay. One of the most effective ways to change your body. And when I say movement, I'm actually meaning like shaking your body. Okay. Like shaking your body. I actually mean like shaking, like literally shaking your body, getting those endorphins flowing. Shaking is so effective. Yes, you look like a freaking crazy person on drugs, but it's literally so effective. You could do jumping jacks. You can do anything to really get your heart rate up. My clients have dance parties. Like my clients literally have dance parties together. It's so fun. But this is a really great way to shift your mental and physical state. How do you feel after a workout? You feel good. You feel different. When our bodies feel different, and we create a state change, your brain literally functions differently as well, too. Yeah, shaking is the best. And even in the animal world, right? Animals literally shake their body as a result of stress response. They literally shake out their body to help release energy. And we're the same. The urge is this stress response in the body. Your body is literally uptight, anxious. It's this surge of energy, which we talked about on day 1. So you got to shake it off. You got to shake it out. What's that song? Shake it up. Shake it out. Right. I was playing that at the Unstoppable Badass event. We were all like dancing at the Unstoppable Badass event 1.0 last year. But anyways, shaking is so effective. Get up, literally start shaking your body. Okay. Number 2 is breath work. It's actually interesting. I did a breath work session with some of my clients and they were like, oh, like what just happened? My body was like vibrating. Breath work and breathing are not the same. Like just, when you go to yoga class and it's like, let's just all relax. Like that's like deep breathing. Breath work creates like this vibration in your body. So by engaging in different breathing techniques, you can create almost like the same feeling as if you were to do like a strenuous workout or like even shaking, right? Like oxygen gets flown to your brain. You think clearer, you feel better, right? So there's different breath patterns. I'm going to share 3 with you guys today. I'm going to share an energizing blend, a more relaxing blend, and then something called a blow breath. So the energizing blend is literally just inhale and exhale through the mouth, or sorry, through the nose, but it's very forceful. Literally just inhale and exhale through the nose. If you literally do this with me right now, like just do it with me for like, let's do it for like 5 seconds. You probably start to feel a little lightheaded, maybe like a little like vibey or like, I don't know, sometimes your hand gets a little like tingly. That is really, really faster. Or sorry, that's really powerful. You can do this for like 30 seconds. You can take a break. You can do a few rounds. You can even do more of a relaxing blend if you feel like if you feel like you're almost in a dissociated state where it's like, I just want to numb out. I don't even know what foods I want. I just want to numb out. I want to like what they say, like veg out. I want to numb out. You got to like upregulate your body, right? So like wake yourself back up, come back to reality, get out of autopilot mode. But if you're like urgy and you're in like this hyper aroused state, you want to downregulate your nervous system and use a slower breath, still very powerful. So it's not like yoga where you're like, that's going to put you to sleep, right? Wake yourself back up. And even me just doing this right now, I'm like, woo! Okay. Very, very, very effective. And then the last one is just a exhale through the mouth as you're snapping your belly in. Exhale through the mouth, snapping your belly in. Powerful to create a state change in your body. So this is all really, really, really powerful. Okay. Breath work is really, really powerful to shift how you're feeling, how you're thinking. Okay. Now, the last tool is cold exposure. Now, sometimes this always isn't accessible, but a cold shower freaking works. This was actually one of the tools at my fitness studio. Back in 2018, we had a shower. I was going to say we had a cold shower. We had a shower, and I would actually go in the shower. And that was probably, I would say, the most effective tool for me personally. Everybody's different. Like I know Erin really loves breath work. She's a mama of 4, and she's like, I just need to do some breath work. I have some of my clients, I'm thinking Cindy, like she loves shaking it out. So everybody's going to be a little bit different. But hopping in a cold shower or like splashing cold water on your face is very, very, very effective. If you just feel the cold water, you take some slow, deep breaths, that's going to be really, really, really powerful. Okay. So of course, there's so many more tools. And again, inside of Conquer, you like literally there's like so many tools. There's at least 10 inside of the Stop the Urge program that you get access to, but there's like nervous system regulation techniques. Like there's so many tools inside of Conquer. But if you want to change your state, essentially, those are 3 really main effective tools. Okay. Now, this is not just about like, I'm really, really impulsive and now I'm trying to not give in. And now, hold on, wait, I have to hop in a cold shower and now I have to do breath work. You're not going to want to do that. Right. So you've almost like decided you're already going to give in. Like I remember driving home from my dance. My gosh. I went to yoga today. I talked about the dance studio, my fitness studio. I was driving home from my fitness studio and I've already decided like, I'm not doing anything. I'm giving in. I'm binging. So don't wait until you're already like in that impulsive state where you're like, F it, I'm not doing anything. I just want to give in. You can still use these tools even outside of feeling the urge. That's going to be supportive because you're going to get familiar with these tools. Okay. Sip of water. Okay. So I'm going to get honest with you guys here. The truth is, you are not going to want to do any of these. Period. End of story. After going through my own journey and coaching hundreds of clients inside of Conquer, I remember telling my coach back in the day, like I was like, okay, I'm learning all these tools are so effective. I don't want to do them. And my clients come to me saying the same thing. And like, thank God I've been through this journey because I know what my clients are going through. When they say to me, like, I don't want to use the tools. Like one of my clients came on a coaching call. She's like, I feel so embarrassed. Like now I actually know what to do and I don't want to do it. And I was like, well, first of all, thank God you're learning from me because I've also had this exact same thoughts as well too. And of course you don't want to use them, right? But again, this is where you have to shift your mindset to say, I am not using the tools to take pleasure out of my life. I am using the tools so that I can have a more pleasure-filled life because we talked about binging as a false sense of pleasure. I actually want to enjoy what I'm eating. I don't want to be going through an out-of-body experience. I don't want to be in autopilot mode. I want to taste my food. Right? There's no joy in like standing up eating super fast, right? So you're not using the tools to be like, you're not going to have pleasure when you eat. You're going to actually taste the food. Like I'm thinking about my delicious chocolate chip pancakes and like how like you can actually taste it when you're not impulsive, right? Like I can actually taste it and that's so much more pleasurable. So again, you have to really rewire your brain around this. And again, inside of Conquer, you have coaching calls multiple times a month. And this is where you can actually come on and we can have these types of conversations like, okay, Lorna, I know the tools now. I don't want to use them. Or I use the tool, but I still gave in. Now, like, what do I do? Right? Because it's not about just learning information. Yes, the tools are effective. And there's so many more in Conquer, but you have to talk through all this. Just like I did with one of my clients a few weeks ago. Like I said, she didn't want to use any of the tools. And we had one conversation, and now I reframed her mind, and now she's excited to use the tools, and she's been using the tools ever since. So you have to shift your mindset around the tools. Okay. Now, what ended up happening, and let me know if you can relate to this. What ended up happening was I started learning these tools, and yes, they were crazy effective. But a lot of the times I was at a social event and I was with people. I'm not going to happen to shower. I'm not going to start shaking at the social event. My family is going to be like, is she okay? What happened to her? Right. And there's so many nuances. And again, inside of Conquer, you get access to so many more tools and strategies that you can use literally within like a minute or less when you're at social events, when you're at work, when you're around other people. All those are inside of Conquer. But the main point is you need to create a state change. The main point you have to nail down in your mind is you are wanting to feel different. And when you know how to create a state change, doesn't matter where you are, who you're with, you'll be able to regulate yourself. Okay. Now, so many of these tools help me to stop giving into my binge urges. And obviously, I was proud of myself. It's the greatest feeling in the world. If you've ever, I'm sure, obviously, you have at least not given into one urge, you know that you've been like, you can feel proud of yourself, right? It's like, I remember like just feeling on cloud nine. Like, I was like, my urges felt so strong. And when I didn't give in, like, it was like the most exciting thing. But I found myself still leaving my meals feeling uncomfortably full. So I wasn't binging as much, but I felt very disconnected from my hunger and fullness cues. I was using these tools, okay, I was less impulsive, but I was still overeating. And I just felt like I would never be able to stop when I'm full because the food is just so good, especially at social events, right? When I'm out for dinner. And I knew that I needed to still get back in tune with my hunger and fullness cues because I felt so freaking out of whack after years of not listening to them. And I needed to learn how to like actually eat like a normal person again. And so inside of Conquer, you actually get access to my program, Eat Normally. And this program helps you master intuitive eating. I actually share how to get back in tune with your hunger and fullness cues so you can stop when you're full. Because it's one thing to stop the binging, but as even like Stacy came up yesterday, she stopped binging, but then she was still overeating, and you need to have tools for that. Right? You need to learn how to confidently go to the restaurant without looking at the menu ahead of time, how to know how much to eat without tracking your food, how to actually trust yourself to bake your favorite cookies without spiraling out of control. Right? So if you've ever said to yourself, like, I just want to eat like a normal person again without all these crazy food noise and be like the people that can go to restaurants and order pizza and literally have slices of pizza still left on their plate and the waiter comes and takes it away like it's no big deal. Like, if you want to be that person that is inside of Conquer, you're going to get access to all the trainings on how to actually eat like a normal person, how to stop eating when you're full, and finally quiet the food noise in your mind. Okay. Now, there was that. So I worked through binging, then there was overeating, and then you guys could probably relate. Then there's the feeling of discomfort in your own skin. So I was still feeling really uncomfortable in my own skin. I had these tools. I started using them. I was not giving into my urges. I was binging less, but I felt so freaking uncomfortable in my own skin. Yes, it was great that I wasn't like out of control as much, but I felt like I was putting on weight because of all this overeating that I was doing. And I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And when you're uncomfortable in your own skin, that is a trigger to eat more because you often feel down, right? You feel ashamed. You look back at old pictures. I used to literally look back at old pictures and see myself, and I'm like, I look so good back then. And now I feel so far away from that body. And again, shame, right? So I needed to work through body image. And inside of Conquer, you get access to actually two different programs. You get access to body image boost and feel like an unstoppable badass in your own skin. Both are designed to help you feel more confident in your own skin, stop comparing the way that you look to other people or how you used to look in the past. This is the biggest thing for most people, because when people feel uncomfortable in their own skin, that is when people go back to dieting. But that's actually the very thing that got you here in the first place. So you have to be willing to do something different. So again, this program is all about how to stop feeling more comfortable, how to feel more confident in your own skin, how to stop obsessing over the way that you look. All the trainings to overcome body image are inside of there, and even how to navigate comments that people have said to you about your body. You actually have to heal that, because if you don't heal those comments that people have told you, every single time you see yourself in a photo, you're going to hear what that person said to you. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to hear what your aunt told you, what your mom told you. For me, the dancer that called me fat in grade 8, every single time I looked at myself in the mirror or a photo, I saw, you're fat. And it wasn't until I actually worked through this, I healed that, where now I can look at myself in the mirror and literally give myself a wink and like slap my ass and be like, damn, girl. Right? Because I actually healed this. And again, you're going to get all those tools inside of Conquer. Then we have nighttime snacking. No matter what time in the world it was like clockwork, where every single night I would just snack. So I started feeling better in my own skin. I started getting back into my fullness cues, but the night times were so challenging. And inside of Conquer, there's an entire program called Break the Late Night Binge. This is my entire philosophy on how to, whether it's binging, emotional eating, overeating, boredom, snacking late at night. This has transformed so many of my clients' lives, because so many of my clients would eat when their partners or kids went to bed. It's like, finally me time, finally time to relax. Nobody's watching me. Let's go to frickin' town. So you're going to be able to stop that. And all this is related, right? Like when you stop mindlessly snacking, you go to bed earlier. You wake up full of energy, ready to crush your workout. You're actually hungry for breakfast, because there are so many times that maybe you've eaten so much at night, you wake up and you're still full from how much you ate last night, and you should have breakfast, but you're like, I'm still kind of full. So like, should I eat? Should I not eat? Do you see how this is all related? When you stop the mindless snacking at night, you get your hunger and fullness cues back. You're able to actually have more energy for your workouts. You're going to feel like an unstoppable badass in your own skin. It's all related. Okay. Now, I want you to think to yourself, have you gone weeks, days, or even months without binging, and then you think to yourself, it's too good to be true? This must be a fluke. So that started to happen for me. So now I was working through all of this, right? And then I started having like a binge-free month. I even went like multiple months without binging. And then I would sabotage myself, because I kept on telling myself, Lorna, it's just a fluke. Don't get too excited. Don't celebrate yourself too much, because it's not going to last. An urge is around the corner. And it felt weird to not binge. Have you guys experienced that? Have you guys experienced that? It literally felt so weird to not binge, because I've done it for so long. So I needed to shift my mindset and literally master my mind to have a binge-free life, and to start normalizing feeling really good, normalizing having binge-free months, because for so long, what I've normalized was feeling uncomfortable in my own skin. What I've normalized is doing well for a week and sabotaging, and then overeating, and then binging. So it felt weird. And so inside of Conquer, you get access to master your mind for a binge-free life, where you actually learn how to normalize and sustain binge-free months without going back to old habits. How to get out of the all or nothing mentality. So even if you couldn't work out in the morning, you had a bigger breakfast, you're on vacation, you've overeaten, you don't say F it. This is going to save you from spiraling into a week-long binge. Yes, Victoria's like, yes, right? Because the all or nothing mentality is such a freaking trap. I better eat it all now, and then tomorrow I'm going to get back on track. I already feel bloated. I already feel like crap, so I might as well keep on eating. That keeps so many people stuck and trapped. So I'm going to help you get out of this mindset and stop sabotaging yourself. And again, that's inside of Conquer. Now, how many of you guys also want to make healthier food choices? Like you want to eat better, you want to feel better, you want to have more energy, better skin, you want to live a long life. So all this was happening for me. And then I started to get this itch of wanting to be even healthier. Like I've always eaten healthy, and I'm sure all of you guys like enjoy eating healthy too, but I wanted to improve my health even more. But anytime I started to make healthier food choices, I felt the restrict brain coming back. I started thinking about more food thoughts again. I'm like, no, wait, hold on. I've done so much work. I've literally done so much work to rewire my brain, to stop giving into my urges, to eat like a normal person. I don't want this. No. My food thoughts cannot come back. I cannot feel like I'm restricting myself again. So I worked through this, and inside of Conquer, you get access to turn up the dial on your health and nutrition without messing up your relationship with food. This is how to make healthier food choices without messing up your relationship with food. You want to improve your health without thinking about food so much more, without going back into the dieting mentality. This is going to be so supportive, because when you literally know how to do this properly, there's no desire to go back to dieting. I had a client that came to me and she was already eating healthy, but of course, sabotaging by binging. And she had gut issues, like inflammation and just like a lot of like bloating and gut issues. And she could not eat dairy and gluten. Like she literally needed to remove some foods from her diet. But whenever she would see a nutritionist, it would always be like, well, just never eat those foods, and those foods are bad. And then she would end up binging on all the dairy and all the gluten because she didn't have the right mindset, because she still had urges. She had the all or nothing mentality. Do you see how all these trainings are building up on each other? So we worked on her mindset. We shifted her association with those foods. I helped her rewire her brain to take those foods off of a pedestal and learn how to be mindful of certain food that didn't make her feel good. And this can relate to you, even if you don't have like gut issues. Maybe you notice that like certain breads or certain like chocolates like make you bloated, and you're like, but I love those foods, and those are the foods that I tend to binge on. How do I be more mindful of those foods? I don't want to tell myself to not have them, because then that leads to binging, but I also don't want to just be eating them because I'm bloated all the time. I'm going to help you be able to do that and really master that. And that's inside of Conquer. And then there were social events. So I thought I was crushing it, right? I'm like, okay, I'm getting healthier. I'm feeling better. I'm going months without binging. But then freaking social events, holidays, get-togethers, weddings, I had this fear of eating in front of other people because my friends and my family always knew me as the healthy one. And I felt so weird eating freaking dessert in front of them, because I felt like all eyeballs were going to go right to me and be like, oh, is Lorna eating dessert? Oh my gosh. And I didn't want that attention, because I like, oh, why are you looking at what I'm eating? Like, it's so awkward. I didn't want that. And so inside of Conquer, there's an entire program called the Social Food Reset, and you get instant access to this that helps you navigate social events, the dessert table, the sweets, how to work through even comments that people say to you, right? How to stop making social events be so much about the food, and actually how to make memories and be present with your loved ones. Okay. Then we have being able to let yourself rest without guilt. Now, so many people have an unhealthy relationship with rest, right? I need to be productive all day. I need to just go, but you feel overwhelmed, and that's causing you to drive yourself crazy. So you need to have a healthy relationship with rest, because when you don't know how to rest, right? And you're just like, go all day long. That's when you're like grabbing foods quick, right? Like I'm one of my clients, it's like, I'm going to grab a protein bar quick, right? Or it's like, I'm going to eat this food. I'm not really hungry, but like I have 20 minutes before my next meeting. And what do I do? Like twiddle my thumbs. I don't know what to do. So let me just eat something, right? So inside of Conquer, you learn how to heal your relationship with rest. And that in and of itself is going to help you stop the mindless snacking. Okay. So do you see how all of these pieces fit together? I created Conquer based off of what I know is going to take you to conquering binge eating for the rest of your life. I am not just say, like, let me just help you stop feeling the urge to binge. That's one piece of the puzzle, right? That's going to transform your relationship with food and you're going to stop your binge eating. But then there's body image, and then there's social events, and then there's overeating. But Lauren, I can't trust myself. Every time I'm stressed, I turn to food. I'm overwhelmed, I turn to food. I go a week or 2 weeks or a month, and then I go on vacation, and then I freaking sabotage myself. Right? So, as a recap, you get access to all of these trainings. There's an entire portal. Stop the Urge program, right? I'm going to help you stop feeling the urge to binge and not just like teach you the tools. Like I shared 3 today, there's 10 inside of the program. You're not going to just learn the tools. You're going to learn how to actually implement them, even when you're at work, social events, when you're around other people. That is valued at $497. Okay. Eat normally, how to really master intuitive eating, get back in tune with your hunger and fullness cues, and effortlessly stop when you're full. That's included. That's valued by itself at $497. Then you get Break the Late Night Binge. You stop your mindless emotional snacking at night. That's also valued at $497. Then you have Body Image Boost to heal your body image, to stop comparing yourself to other people, to stop obsessing over the way you look 24/7. That is $497. Then you have Master Your Mind for a Binge-Free Life. This is where you learn how to sustain binge-free months without sabotaging yourself every time shit hits the fan. That's also valued at $497. You're getting this all included, okay? The Social Food Reset, where you learn how to be present with your family at social events without making food the actual event. That's $497. Freedom of Choice, I didn't even talk about this. That's valued at $333. I talk about how we don't do food freedom. Like, this is not about like, eat whatever the heck you want, like you're going to feel like crap. This is about freedom of choice, where you actually step in the driver's seat of your food choices, not your urges. You get Permission to Be program, where you learn how to have a healthy relationship with rest, and again, therefore stop mindlessly snacking. That's $497. The Turn Up the Dial on your health and nutrition without messing up your relationship with food. You get access to that to become the healthiest version of yourself without going back to old habits and like restricting and food thoughts coming back. That's $497. Feel like an unstoppable badass in your own skin. That's $497. You get access to trainings on how to stop emotional eating. And that's so important because life is going to life. Things are going to upset you. You're going to feel anxious, and you need to learn how to process your emotions without using food to comfort yourself. And that's $497. So you literally get instant access, like literally the moment that you join Conquer, you get access to every single one of these trainings. And why is this so important is because I want you to have every single tool in your toolbox. So that come Tuesday afternoon, if you're like, I want to bake something, and then all of a sudden you get in the mindset of like, no, but I can't trust myself, you're going to know how to do it effortlessly because there's a training on how to do that, how to actually trust yourself, right? You're going to be able to trust yourself to go to the restaurant, order whatever you want without looking at the menu ahead of time, how to actually go months being binge free, because there's nothing more frustrating than doing so well and then again sabotaging yourself, right? You've been there, you've done that. You have to be willing to do something different. So you get access to all of that. And then any new or upcoming trainings or programs that I have over the next 6 or 12 months, you also get access to all of those as well too, okay? Now, my favorite part is the coaching. Like I said, essentially every other week, you get 2 calls per month with me. You come up on Zoom and you get personalized coaching. It's not like this where you're learning from me. You come up on Zoom, you're going to have your specific questions answered because you're probably thinking, how does this apply to me? How do I use this tool? But this is my mindset, right? So this is where I share with you. This is where I share with you what you specifically need to do. I will give you tools and strategies in the moment. I will literally rewire your brain on these calls, personalized coaching with whatever you need, because even though so many of you guys are in similar situations, like you're all here, probably have food thoughts, urges, maybe, discomfort in your own skin, but everybody is slightly different, right? I work with a mom with 4 kids who's super overwhelmed. They're going to have different strategies than somebody who has an aunt that maybe has, made a comment about their body. They need specific tools compared to the mom that has 4 kids and who's super overwhelmed. So everybody has different situations. And so this is why you need custom coaching. Not just watch a tool or watch a training, not just like go to a self-paced course. You need actually coaching from someone who's been through it. And I can honestly say you can't put a price tag on that, right? Like somebody who finally understands you, that's priceless. But let's just say that's $997. Okay. Then you have our badass community. And it's so interesting. So I was working with a client, and at first she said, Lorna, I don't need the badass community. I'm going to join your program because I want coaching from you, but I don't need the badass community. And she was the one that plugged in the most. She's like, Lorna, I did not know how badly I needed this, how supportive it was for me, where I felt celebrated. No one's ever celebrated me like that before. I can't tell my husband that I feel so proud of myself because I left my meal feeling comfortably full. He's going to be like, okay, right? And then these ladies are cheering me on. I feel so much more proud of myself. And she said, the reason I know, not even I believe that I conquer, I know that I conquer is because of these ladies cheering me on, empowering me, and even just like a phrase or like a simple words of engagement were the exact things that I needed to experience to be able to get through the week. So she literally went from, I don't need no community, I'm a badass independent woman, to that was the most transformative part of the program. She's like, I would have paid $1,000 to just have that. And again, it is really special, you guys, because this is not just like random woman off the street. These badasses paid to be in this program. You're not going to be around any other people who are more committed than somebody who's actually paid to be in the program and invested time, energy, and money. They're going to just be as committed as you. They're going to celebrate you. And yes, cheer you on, but also pick you up when you're not having the best day, because you're going to have those days. You're human. Right? By the way, you guys, I never actually mentioned this. You're going to get access to my Root and Rewire membership as a bonus. That's closed. Nobody can ever join that program ever again. This is where I teach you my entire Root and Rewire process that rewires your brain. You're going to get access to that included, and that's valued at $997. So even if I just added everything up, including, actually not including the badass community, because you can't put a price tag on that. I don't know. I'm like $1 million. I don't know. Like you can't put a price tag on people seeing you and like feeling understood. So let's just say I added all that up without the badass community. That's over $7,600. And that's not including the badass community, which I would say is the entire Conquer investment. But I'm not going to charge you $6,700. So Conquer is a 6 or 12-month program, and it starts at $450 per month. It's literally insane, but I reward action takers who are all in with me because you're committing for 6 or 12 months. So that's why you're getting it at this price point, because when you actually commit to this journey, you're rewarded always. So there's different options depending if you pay in full 6 or 12 months. But I actually decided to do a pay in full bonus. So if you want to pay in full, you're going to actually get some private coaching with me. I did this I think it was a few months ago, and the breakthroughs of just like one call, people are like, that was more helpful than 7 years of therapy. I've done 5 days of coaching with people, and they're like, this was worth the entire investment. People pay me $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to get private coaching with me, my high level clients. So this is a bonus. And I'm excited to offer this to you because I really want to dive deep, you guys. Like I am so in this. Any client that's worked with me, you guys know, like I am in this with you. Like this is not a massive 500 people group. It's not even like 50 people. Like I told you on our last Conquer call, I think there was like 3 or 4 people. Like it's very intimate. I want to spend time with you, right? So you're going to get that as a bonus if you pay in full. Now, this is only available until Wednesday. So I didn't even share the bonus. So if you pay in full, you're going to get a private one-on-one coaching call with me. Okay, we'll do a deep dive into your specific situation and what you need support with. And then you're going to get 5 days of access to personally voice message me, text me for 5 days. You can literally ask me anything. I will literally be in your back pocket. So if it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're like, oh, this came up for me, or I'm feeling an urge, like I can literally walk you through it, which is so powerful. And that's a bonus. Okay. So that's only available until Wednesday, whether you do a payment plan or you pay in full. Doors close on Wednesday. Actually, I'm going to be closing it for a little bit. And that's that. Okay. So it closed on Wednesday. Access to all replays of this masterclass and Sunday night. Okay, so make sure to watch all the trainings before Sunday night. That's when it expires. And then being able to join Conquer expires Wednesday night. Okay, so message me Conquer for the full breakdown. If you have any questions, I've been talking so much. If you have any questions, you can message me, but I just want to take a moment to speak from my heart. Like, you owe it to yourself to do this, because how much is it actually worth it to you to have your mental freedom back, to be present with your children, to never think about food ever again, to never have to worry about your next meal? Did I eat too much? Did I get enough protein? Like, how do I look? Do I look bloated? And just being able to eat like a normal person again. Like, I've had clients who've told me I can't afford it until they realize I can't afford to not do this. Like, I'm actually spending so much on binging, and my time thinking about food. Like, I cannot not do this. I had a client at first, she said, I can't afford coaching with you. And then not too long ago, she was like, I'm using money from my birthday to put towards this program. People get so resourceful. I've had people ask their mom, people have had parents paid for their program because they're like, I want to be able to do this. So you're resourceful. When something is important for you, you're going to make it work, and you're a freaking badass and you make shit work. When things are important for you, you make it happen. So you will always find a way. And time goes by so quickly, you guys. Like, I blinked and it's already like multiple months into the year, which is absolutely insane. And you have to ask yourself, do I want to spend another 6 months binging? Do I want to spend another year in the same cycle that I've literally been in for the past 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Or am I going to give it another shot? Am I going to have faith? Am I going to go all in? Because I have one life, and I don't want to be 80 years old and think back to myself like, what if I went for it? What if I was actually able to conquer, but I told myself I couldn't? What if I actually was able to conquer, but I didn't believe in myself one more time? What if I actually was able to conquer, but I made all these other excuses? I want to be 80 years old and be like, I can't believe I actually did that. I'm so proud of myself that I gave myself one last shot, that I found a way to do this. The only difference between somebody who conquers and somebody who doesn't is that they just take different actions. They choose to allocate their time, their resources, their energy, their money towards something that matters to them, their relationship with food. And that's priceless, right? Like getting your time back with your family, right? Being in a body that actually feels like yours, like you're comfortable in your own skin, that's priceless. Never thinking about food ever again. You cannot put a price tag on that, right? I think about my coach who changed my life. I would pay her like 10 times more than I paid her. Like, I would pay her hundreds of thousands of dollars because she changed my life. So I am excited for all of you guys committing to this journey, because I know what happens on the other side. I always say this. I wish I can like bring you to the end destination, even though there's not an end destination, but I wish that you could like get a glimpse of your freedom and life on the other side, because it's not a matter of are you going to conquer? It's just a matter of when. And when you actually commit, you see that it's so much closer than you actually realize, with the right coaching, with the right support, with the right tools, with coaching, with guidance, with somebody who actually understands you. So again, one more time, you're going to get access to all the pieces to conquer. There's not one missing piece. This is not like how to just stop your urges. That's one piece, but the body image, mastering intuitive eating, emotional eating, like all of the tools, you're going to have coaching calls with me twice per month, essentially every other week. Personalized coaching, whatever you need support, I got your back. I can literally rewire your brain in like a minute with whatever it is that you need. And then you have the badass community that is going to serve you. So literally all of that in and of itself is $6,700. But when you commit to 6 or 12 months, it starts at $450 per month, which is literally insane. And if you pay in full, you're getting private coaching with me. In addition, a private call with me, one-on-one, just you and I in a safe space. And then also 5 days of private access to voice message me or text me personally, and we can really do a deep dive. Okay. So message me, Conquer, and I will send you more of the details. I cannot thank you enough for being here. You guys are incredible. I pour my heart and my soul into like a free masterclass. Like, just imagine what actually happens when you're inside of the program and you are just as invested as I am. And this is why it works, because I am so invested. And then when you're also so invested, time, energy, and money, you'll show up so much more powerfully. And then you actually create your own results. And I'm the guide. So it's so powerful. So anyways, you guys, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Message me if you have any questions about the program. Let's see. Personalized coaching is gold. Yes. Body image and becoming her, two of my favorite programs. Yes. So invaluable. The one-on-one call in 5 days in Slack when I first joined was a game changer for me. Yes, I love that time together, Erin. I just look back to find the message I sent you just before I joined. Yeah. And imagine if Erin continued to ghost me. She ghosted me for 3 months. Imagine if she kept on ghosting me, she wouldn't be here today. Conquering. So thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are literally amazing human beings. I can't wait to do this work with you and see you guys conquering in the next 6 or 12 months. Like, let's freaking go. Have a beautiful, blessed day, you guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye.